Now, I am pretty sure we're getting close to the ending of Val'sharah, the very first zone that I decided to go for in the Legion expansion. Now, in case you haven't seen the previous episode, I will leave that one down below with a link, because honestly, you're gonna have to check that one out before watching this, because otherwise, I'm just gonna be spoiling so many of the actual plot lines, okay? Do we have it? Have you seen it? Alright, good. So, in the previous episode, pretty much all of my favorite characters ended up dying. I am not entirely sure if we're gonna be getting them back. I'm not entirely sure where Malfurion is located, but I do know that we have to head towards the Nightmare ourselves. So obviously Ysera got taken by Mother Moon, right? Elune decided to be nice to her and basically grant her freedom once again, or at the very least that's what I would like to think happened. And she left about this, like, you know, tear-shaped object. And apparently, it's called the Tears of Elune. Let's have a quick look. The Tear of Elune floats effortlessly, glistening in an ethereal pillar of moonlight. Alright, use the central teleporter in Dalaran and then place the Tears of Elune in the portrait room. Okay, so we have to head towards Dalaran? Huh. Now, luckily for us in the Legion expansion, we do have a Dalaran Heartstone, so it's relatively easy for me to get over here. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be the center that they were talking about, right? So I gotta place the Tear of Elune. Oh, wait, Meryl, you've got a quest for me once again?
Yes.
The Terrorist Guard has need of your help now that you have grown in strength, Lowko. Meet me in the Hall of the Guardian where you are done with your adventures. Okay, I'll do that, but first I gotta do this Tears of Elune business, okay? Do I just walk into it? That works for me. Alright. I thought I would have to use the, the tear that I had with me. But it looks like... Oh, that's what this room is about. So, as you may remember, I walked through this hallway initially and I looked at the different artifacts and whatnot that are on display. And I think we have to... I think we may very well have to go to every zone in Legion, at the very least that's what I'm hoping right now, and place down an object from each of the zones in this room. That will be so cool if that's actually the case. Alright, anyway, we got the Tear of Elune. Let's have a look. Archmage Khadgar has set aside a space here for the Tears of Elune, as well as the rest of the Pillars of Creation. Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna be happening. Sweet. So we're gonna be getting our level 800 chest piece. We're currently having a item level 700 chest piece equipped, so that's a huge upgrade.
Today we celebrate a great triumph, one paid for with the blood of those most dear to us. Though I am often at odds with your Horde, I cannot question the courage you've shown, saving Val'sharah. Now the Tears of Elune are added to our arsenal. May they bring us victory against the Legion.
So we've discovered another quest now. With this Pillar of Creation safely secured, it is time to take advantage of your momentum and continue onwards after the next. You recall that your order has gathered information that would aid you in your journey. Looking it over once more before setting off would be wise. Wait, you're telling me I can already choose a next point on the command map? But I gotta figure out what happened to Malfurion first. Am I not gonna find out? Now, lucky for me, I do still have a couple of quests that need to be completed. One of them is called Enter the Nightmare, so we need to enter Darkheart Thicket and slay the Shade of Xavius. So what I'm gonna do is use the dungeon finder right here and find a group for that dungeon. Apparently we've got company now. Not entirely sure what that's all about, but you know what? I'll just use my Heartstone before we get in trouble. So for those of you unfamiliar with how the system works in World of Warcraft, you can queue up for a dungeon and it will fight suitable allies for you. And apparently the group has indeed been formed and I can enter. I have never been in this dungeon before. As a matter of fact, I've not seen any of the Legion dungeons just yet. But obviously we're going to be in the dungeon that's relevant to the zone that we were in previously. So it's going to be relevant to Val'sharah. And I have now grouped up with several allies here to try and do as much damage as possible. And I'm not going to lie, this is the very first little bit of group effort that I'm seeing in this expansion. And I've not done a whole lot of it just yet. But I think what our objective is going to be is to defeat the Shade of Xavius, who apparently is going to be at the very end of this dungeon. Now, first off, obviously, there's going to be a couple of bosses along the way. And we'll also need to make sure that we destroy the minions, I guess, that are hanging out over here. Anyway, I decided to turn on the nameplates. I don't actually know if I'm supposed to be pushing anything. You know what? This is my first dungeon. Let's not be a jerk. I've done hundreds and hundreds of dungeons in World of Warcraft before this moment, obviously. Oftentimes tanks are a little bit too slow for my liking, so I'm one of those guys that is, you know, playing a little more aggressive than I probably should be. So, you know what? I'll take it easy in this one and not ninja pull anything.
Those who challenge me only speed themselves to an agonizing death.
So says the Shadow of Xavius.
Be still, worm. I will deal with you shortly.
Well, Mr. Xavius. That's not very nice of you. Oh man, this is so pretty. It's so pretty though. So here's the thing, right? When I started playing World of Warcraft, we also did have dungeons, obviously, right? In particular, in Wrath of the Lich King, they already did get a bunch better than apparently they were before that. We don't really want to engage those if we can at all avoid it. But, basically the dungeons would be a lot of trash and then, you know, a couple of bosses as well. That would be very interesting, but most of them would be pretty straightforward as well. Where the trash, for example, wouldn't really be doing all too much. And by the way, these like little minions, I guess, in between bosses are generally speaking called trash, just because they were just there to, like, you know, cost the players a bunch of extra time and you know, a little bit of extra effort, so you couldn't just be grinding the bosses. But these actually, you know, these actually have different kinds of mechanics as well, where they're using special moves, I guess, to keep everything rolling. Now, apparently, there's a whole lot of grizzly bears that are not looking all too healthy. You know what? I'm just gonna simply follow my team here and see what we can find. Alright, so the very first boss that we will be facing shortly, while I'm casually doing some damage here as well and help out the team, is going to be Archdruid Gladalis. Gladalis was once known as among the most talented shapeshifters in all of Azeroth, and the Elders of Moonglade would regularly send their most promising disciples to his care for instruction. But as has sadly too often been the case, those who are closest to nature are often the first to fall into the nightmare's clutches.
Defilers, I can smell the nightmare in your blood. Be gone from these woods, or suffer nature's wrath.
Ooh, so that's the Archdruid right there.
Defilers, so it is you who have befouled these woods with the nightmare. By tooth and claw, be purged!
He just locked us in. He most definitely rooted us in. Now, I do want to clarify that this is going to be, ooh, he's casting something. Not entirely sure what that means. Generally speaking, what it does mean is that I just simply need to stay at a little bit of a distance here and not stand in any kind of obvious things that he throws on the ground. That, generally speaking, you know, does happen. But I do want to let you know that this is going to be normal difficulty. So that does mean that it's not going to be the most difficult version of a dungeon. Obviously, we're only level 101 right now.
Tooth and claw, be purged!
And once again, he's going to be casting Primal Rampage. He's switching between, like, cat form and bear form constantly as well, which is fair enough. You know what? I guess I can pop my cooldowns as well, right? It's not gonna really hurt anyone. It looks like we got it. It looks like we managed to get them.
The nightmare clouds my thoughts no more.
A fluke. Savor it and pray you do not face me next.
They will be more than prepared. For your true power rests in the nightmare.
Silence, weakling. When you open your mouth again, it will be to cry for mercy.
I'm hoping here we can actually defend Malfurion though from actually falling into the nightmare. That'd be cool. I just realized I hadn't actually equipped the chest piece yet. There we go. We look less fabulous. I can obviously transmog to the old version once again if I would like to, but it's a huge upgrade, so I guess I better use it, right? So there's gonna be a little bit of a rare mob right here in this sort of like whatever type of area it is. We need to climb the tower, but it's in between two bosses. Do we climb the tower? I think we do. I hope that my allies are gonna join as well, though. He must be up here somewhere. Ooh. Oh no, looks like they've already found him. I don't know if they summoned him somehow, some way, but either way, I'm gonna have to help him out. Ooh. Well, Godzilla isn't looking all too happy anymore. So the next boss we're going to be facing is going to be named Oakheart, an ancient who formed from an offshoot of Shaladrasil itself. Oakheart has survived the Sundering, the Cataclysm, and countless blights. The ancient was able to weather these storms by drawing strength from the essence of the dream itself, but now that wellspring has become his undoing. So if I'm not mistaken, off in the distance there, we can see Mr. Oakheart himself. I think that is him anyway. He should show up here shortly. We gotta be careful, because we do get feared constantly, and that basically means your character is gonna start running all over the place. And not actually, you know, not actually show you all too much. But there he is. Oakheart, Father of the Glade.
Is worse than my bite.
Wow. Such a poet as well. Gonna have to simply cast as much as I possibly can here. We do a lot of damage though. I am currently grouped up, by the way, with a bunch of higher level people here as well. So some of them in my party are level 110 already. So that does mean that they're going to be able to do substantially more damage than myself. And they should be relatively straightforward. As, you know, obviously they have all of the upgrades that we need.
Been around here too long.
Although to be fair, considering all of the zones, like, scale up very, very quickly. Like, you know, you could be doing the zone that I just completed, or at least, like, nearly completed. You could do that at level 109 just fine as well, and it would still be scaling up and be more difficult, right? So,
I told you to leave me alone.
sorry, Mr. Oakheart. Do you have any sweet loot, though? Sadly.
A pity you have come this far only to die at the hands of Xavius.
An empty threat. You hold no sway over this realm, Nightmare Lord.
Bold words for a prisoner. Even an echo of my power was enough to overwhelm you.
Okay. So looks like we are ascending deeper into this whatever kind of place it is. I mean, there's a lot of fog around, which looks freaking awesome. Not entirely sure what to expect though. Alright, so for some reason we managed to walk around the third boss, and I just realized we are actually on our way towards Xavius instead. Now, one of the guys on the team just mentioned we may very well be going back after destroying Xavius, and that's obviously also going to be my quest objective, which is fine by me, but I'm hoping that we're gonna go back to do Dracer as well. Either way, the Shade of Xavius is going to be next. Once a powerful mage and a counselor to the Queen Val'sharah, Xavius forged a pact with Sargeras to enable the Legion's first invasion of Azeroth. Cursed and tormented in the wake of that defeat, Xavius now projects his true power from the Nightmare into our world, focusing his dark might to break the spirits of his old rival, Malfurion. And it looks like we have indeed found him, and that's going to be Malfurion right there, right next to him. Huh.
I will break you.
Well, well, well. So far for good manners. He was being quite polite during his whole ordeal, I suppose, but now he's not feeling that that politeness anymore, apparently. All right.
You will waste away slowly, painfully.
Okay. What a nice man. I didn't mind him that much earlier, other than the fact that he obviously destroyed a whole bunch of my friends. But it does seem like he is a relatively straight up fight as well. As obviously right now we're with the 5 of us. And we are indeed destroying him with relative ease. I'll go ahead and just activate my shield just in case. I'll try and do as much damage as possible. So the entire goal, by the way, of Fire Mage right now, in case you are unfamiliar, is trying to stack up as many crits as possible. As every 2 crits that go off, we get a free Pyroblast cast. And Pyroblast is an extremely powerful spell. That basically normally is a very long cast time, and there are cast one, for example. Normally it has a very long cast time, but if you crit twice with any fire ability, or at least like, you know, one of the main spells,
I will fracture your feeble mind.
we're gonna get a free cast of Pyroblast.
No, I refuse to accept.
Well-earned victory. We must, however, stay vigilant. Deep inside the Nightmare, Xavius remains unvanquished. The enemy you fought here was merely his shadow.
Alright, so we have teleported out of the dungeon and back into the dungeon, and what happens is that it teleports you back to the very beginning. So, luckily for me, and I was a little bit worried about this, ooh, that's the wrong way. Luckily for me, none of the team has left just yet. Generally speaking, when this sort of thing happens, people just try to do the final boss, get their reward, and then get out of here. But you know, these guys are actually decided to stay around, so that's pretty awesome. So, the final boss we're going to be facing, and actually what is supposed to be the third boss in this dungeon is going to be Dracharun. Once a young green drake tending to whelps in the shadow of the Great World Tree, Dracharun is now engulfed in a nightmare. Lost in a fog of hatred and fear, he lashes out with powerful wings and a withering breath, unleashing his rage on any who stumble into his clutches. Sweet. So the one person that did just leave, by the way, was going to be a level 110. He has no use for the bonus experience, really. And he decided to just sort of leave us. Now, lucky for us, that was one of the damage dealers. So that means that we can indeed continue onwards. If it would have been the tank or the healer, it would have been very difficult to pull off the dragon that we will be facing off shortly. I hope we can do it with the 4 of us, to be completely frank with you. Maybe it may still be a little bit too difficult, and we're gonna have to focus quite hard before it's gonna happen, I suppose. Alright, and with these final little minions out of the way... Actually, there's a couple more spawning. I was gonna say, though, I think it is time to start facing Dracharun, who you can already see, you know, the outline of, I suppose, right there in the back. I actually expected him to be a little bit bigger, but hey, that's alright. Oh. A whole bunch of little dragon whelps spawn, apparently, as soon as you touch these eggs. Yep. I was a little worried for that. I've been to Nixia's lair before. I have watched the Leroy Jenkins videos. Apparently, if you touch the eggs, they will automatically open up. I'm not entirely sure if we are supposed to take out the eggs first or not. It looks like the tank has decided that that is not going to be the case. And we're just going to be facing her off right from the get-go. Well, hey, that's fine by me. There's going to be a couple of minor little whelps spawning every now and then, I suppose. Which is fair enough. But we do plenty of damage, as you can see. Well, so far it's looking good. She's going to be casting Breath of Corruption. I should probably use a couple of area of effect spells there, just to try and at the very least do something. There we go. Oh, she's pushing everyone to the outside, basically forcing us to unhatch the eggs. That's really, really, really cool. Oh, we gotta be careful. Don't want to be standing in that. Once again, Breath of Corruption is gonna be hitting us very, very shortly. And we gotta be careful not to, like, accidentally spawn, you know, a gazillion whelps in this room, because that's definitely gonna cost us. But it looks like, all things considered, only 15% of her life remaining. I can just blink forward, which is rather nice for, you know, these kind of engagements. You can basically just run against it as well, but I can imagine that if you are doing this one on, like, the heroic or mythic difficulty, it may very well mean that you're just gonna die. And actually, the tank is taking a heck of a lot of damage right now. You can see their health bars right here on the sides and as well as in the middle of the screen. We're gonna have to nuke it down, but it looks like we just barely managed to get it. And with that, 19,000 bonus experience as well. And sadly, we haven't gotten any rewards from this dungeon whatsoever, but at the very least, we completed the objectives. Now, I do still have a couple of leftover quests in the different areas that I've been to that I haven't quite completed yet. And of course, the completionist as I am, I do want to go ahead and finish off everything. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now, killing some harpies, as well as destroy some supplies here to finish off 2 of the last quests in this area. Alright, so let's quickly turn in these quests. Have you retrieved them, she asks. Yes, I most definitely have. It is not much, but it's better than I could have hoped for. You have our gratitude. Hey, no problem. No problem, there we go. And such violence should not be necessary, thank you regardless. So some, you know, some minor quests here, but at the very least, we managed to get some reputations and, you know, a little bit of golden experience as well. Next up, I'm flying towards the Garden of the Moon, and apparently I've actually started flying together with a couple of other people that all pressed the button at the exact same time, although one of them decided to go a different direction. Okay, so I've returned to the Temple of Elune to turn in a quest that, you know, we originally were running the dungeon for in the first place. We did indeed take the Tears of Elune, but Tyrande, what's going on? Praise Elune and all that her light touches. Malfurion is alive. I thought I would spend the rest of my days alone, dreaming of the choices I did not make. Thank you for returning my love to me. Very, very happy actually that he's alive. We do get some boots for that as well. And apparently they've gotten epic upgrades, so now they're level 723. There we go, sweet. And it seems like we have come to the end of the Val'sharah main storyline. Now, obviously, there's still a little bit left over to do. For example, I still have a quest right here in Brayden's Brook as well that I'll need to discover. As you may remember, we found like a body over there that was pierced with arrows and all that, and she said that the undead were marching. But apparently, I've done a little bit of research. Apparently, that is mainly outside of the storyline of the Val'sharah region. So I think for now, it is time for us to head back towards the class hall. And I'll go ahead and complete a couple of quests that are still left over in this zone myself. Okay, so I've made my way back to the Hall of the Guardian. Now, one thing that I hadn't used quite yet is going to be the Crystallized Moon Drop. And as you may notice, it will grant me 100 artifact power. Now, at this point in time, I've got 250 and I need 50 more for my next trade. So I'm not entirely sure if I use this, if I'm going to be wasting 50 artifact power. I guess there's only really one way to find out. I hope not. I hope not. Oh, no. Actually, it's going to just simply save up. So that's awesome. It's just going to give us another tier. But what that does mean is that we need to return to the forge indeed to unlock our next trade. So lucky for me, I'm already in the Hall of the Guardian. So we'll see if the Forge of the Guardian can help us out, because I'm going to be able to start choosing what my next trade is going to be. I'm not entirely sure if there's like one build that I really should be following, but for now I have just simply looked at the options that are available, and it seems like the Great Balls of Fire that increases my damage dealt by Fireball is going to be by far the best. We also got Molten Skin. Molten Armor reduces all physical damage you take by an additional 3%. Not really something I want to be taking right now. We got Cauterizing Blink that will heal me whenever I do blink. And we got the Blue Flame Special that increases the damage that I do with Flame Strike as well. So that's going to be the massive like AoE effect, you know, damage thing that I do have. One thing to note though is that there is going to be a path because of the different you know, relics that we are using. There's going to be a path over here towards Aftershocks. And that does require me to have an additional link. So I'm kind of contemplating if I should go ahead and pick the Cauterizing Blink. If I should pick the Cauterizing Blink here instead over the Great Balls of Fire. You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut instinct to pick the Cauterizing Blink instead, because 3% extra fireball damage is so boring, you know? Let's go with that one, and hopefully it will eventually connect all of those together. Although I may actually have to spend like... three ranks on it before it's actually gonna go through. Okay, so when we first went to Dalaran, Meryl sent us a message, so let's have a quick look. He says, "Yes, Lowko. Good to see you here. There is much to be done." Okay, what a surprise. The Tiras Guard has been defunct for ages. To defeat the Burning Legion, we must first recruit the greatest champions of our class to fight by our side. 2 powerful Archmages, Archmage Kallak and Archmage Modera, have come to help us succeed. Speak to them and enlist their aid. Okay, I can do that. Well, lucky for me, apparently they have decided to stand right next to us and probably start arguing. The Blue Dragonflight has always represented magic on Azeroth, and it is fitting that we work together against the Burning Legion now more than ever. I would be honored to fight for you as your champion in these dark times. Okay.
My strength is yours, friend. Together, we will protect Azeroth.
Okay. And then I can also pick Archmage Modera, apparently. It is good to see the Tiras Guard rise again, Lowko. While not everyone on the Council of Six agrees with me, I believe it is imperative for us to work together and defeat the Burning Legion once and for all.
I would be glad to lend my skills to the Tiras Guard, Conjurer. I have heard great things about you.
Okay. So, I'm not entirely sure what this is all about, but I'm sure Meryl will explain. Archmage Kallak and Archmage Modera are 2 of the greatest mages in Azeroth's present and past. They will be exemplary representatives of our order. Okay, sweet. Now that you have your first 2 champions, there is an abundance of work they can do to help us. Archmage Malice has been hard at work getting our command room up and running. Head downstairs and ask her to show you what needs to be done. Okay, I can definitely do that. Awesome, let's head down. Archmage Malice, what's going on? Good to see you. Greetings, Lowko. The fires of Azeroth give us the power to see beyond ourselves. Sweet. Beside me is the scouting map. From it, you can direct our allies to carry out vital assignments across the Broken Isles. The first task is critical. Archmage Omniara, a renowned summoner, was on her way to the Hall of the Guardians when she was attacked. Send Archmage Kallakos to help her. He will be uniquely suited to this task. Okay. So I need to use the scouting board right here, the scouting map, to use one of my followers, I guess they are pretty much, to send on this mission. Okay, so Omniara needs help. The Hall of the Guardian is established, but we are going to need more help. Archmage Omniara, a renowned elemental summoner, was just attacked. This boss can be countered by an arcane mage. Oh, okay. So we can drag Archmage Kallak over here.
Feel the wrath of Kalecgos.
And this will cost me a little bit of resources apparently, but it will reward me with another follower. Sweet. Yeah, so as you can see, there are going to be several uncollected followers right now that I can indeed unlock over the course of time. And I'm assuming here that, you know, the longer we play, the more assignments we're gonna get and the more interesting it's going to become. And as a matter of fact, it seems like Kalak is gonna be returning very soon already. So I've been messing around a little bit in the class hole as well, and it turns out there are missions that we can be sending our followers on as well. So the different archmages that we have can indeed be sent out on different objectives. So that's pretty awesome. I just completed my very first mission, and it looks like Archmage Kalak right here has successfully defeated the boss, and therefore we should be rewarded with another follower again as well. So indeed, Archmage Omniara is going to be joining us next as well. We're going to be able to send those on different kinds of missions to different objectives as well, which is pretty cool. Your champion did well. Archmage Omniara agreed to join us and is getting situated as we speak. Hey, no problem at all. Archmage Omniara is a very powerful arcanist, and her skills will be quite an asset to our order. She is capable of summoning multiple water elementals at the same time. Fortunately, she has agreed to share her knowledge with us. Speak to her now and recruit her elementals. Ooh, okay. That's actually really, really awesome, as the followers that we are obtaining here are actually going to be joining us in the class hall. So indeed, she's got a couple of water elementals here. Let's have a quick look. So apparently, we can also recruit one of the water elementals. It summons a squad of troops which can accompany champions on missions to increase the chance of succession. Oh. Alright, I'll recruit all. Sweet! Ooh, these elementals will make us useful allies in our battle against the Burning Legion. Wait, where are you guys going? We had to recruit water elementals, okay. Well done, these troops will be invaluable in our fight against the Burning Legion. Deploy them on missions just as you would with our champions. Okay. Our troops are ready, it's time to test them out on the field. We've received word of survivors near the Broken Shore, but the area is still crawling with Legion. Send our troops quickly to help with the rescue. Okay, so here's how it works. If I understand correctly, we can send the followers that we have on different missions. And apparently this mission right here is going to take about 8 hours. And what I can do is, you know, drag different followers that I have towards this assignment. So right now, actually, I got one of the followers that I have assigned as a combat ally. What I can do actually is just simply unassign her and send her on this mission as well. So it's going to be called Troops in the Field. The Hate Coil Naga have disturbed a massive water elemental. All right. So what I can do is just drag and drop. I can drag and drop a couple of these followers in, and generally speaking, that should be fine. Can I? Ooh, that increases the chances of it succeeding by 90%. But if I bring her as well, there we go. It should be pretty straightforward. All right, yeah. So we're just gonna do it this way, and then once they complete this assignment in 8 hours from now, or 4 hours apparently now that I've used 2 champions on it, we're gonna be getting this thing called the Chronicler El Rian. Chronicler El Rian will arrive in your order hall and grant you the ability to perform research into your order advancement tree. Sweet. So basically we're just unlocking many more things by using the class hall here. So that mission is going to be started up. So here is a very important decision that we need to make. We need to decide what zone we want to be headed towards next. So I can choose between Azsuna, High Mountain, and Stormheim. And if you have any recommendations of the zone that you want me to head to next, let me know down below in the comment section of the video. So quick overview, Azsuna, the once idyllic island paradise, is being invaded. The Legion rains death from above, and Queen Azshara's Naga rise from the depths below. Now we get High Mountain, one of the last great frontiers of the Broken Isles. High Mountain dominates the northern horizon with its jagged peaks. And then we also got Stormheim. War Chief Sylvanas Windrunner has prepared her personal fleet to set off to the bluffs of Stormheim to locate the Aegis of Agromar. So let me know down below what zone you would like me to head to next. I honestly don't really have a preference myself. I mean, I probably would be going to Azsuna, but I'm gonna be doing them all either way. But if you have any recommendations, let me know down below in the comment section of the video, because I'm going to be ending this one right here, but at the beginning of the next one, I'll definitely... What's going on, girl? How are you doing? But at the beginning of the next one, we're going to be deciding what zone we're going to be headed to next. So definitely do let me know down below. And other than that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.